Hey guys, welcome to the Little Garden Kitchen. It is the middle of July now here on the Saskatchewan prairies, and I have been out picking herbs, weeds, and flowers, and it is time to get all this stuff preserved and dried or frozen so that I have lots of spices, teas, things for my salves all ready for the winter season. So in today's video, I'm going to go through all the things that I've been picking here today and show you the different methods that I use for storing and preserving them. So if this is your first time joining me on my channel, my name is Tracy and I am a cold climate gardener living on the prairies in Saskatchewan, Canada. And on my channel, I like to show how you can grow your own food 12 months of the year, no matter where you live. So you can check out my free downloads and join my little garden newsletter. Just click on the link in the description box below. So right now, of course, being mid-July, it's all about the outdoor gardening and starting to harvest and preserve all those things that you're working so hard to grow. So today, this is everything that I had picked this morning. So I got some herbs here. I got some lemon balm. I've got 3 kinds of mint, just regular peppermint, ginger mint, and apple mint. You can see all the leaves are really nice and healthy looking. These are new mints for me that I've never tried before, but I'm hoping to make some tea blends with these. So I will be drying these mints and the lemon balm for tea. Of course, good old herbs, like thyme, sage, oregano. You can never have enough of that. I have my kitchen garden out back where I have been just snipping pieces of it when I'm cooking, when I need some fresh. But today I took a good harvest and I'm going to set these up in my dehydrator here, get them dried up and jarred, and then I should have a good supply for the winter. So one of the other things that I also like to do is collect maybe weeds, flowers, different things that I can use to make salves. So right here, I've got some chamomile that I'm drying indoors. This is going to be for tea, but chamomile is also wonderful for skincare products, as well as calendula, plantain, dandelions. Those are the kinds of things that I like to collect. And I use a mesh dryer, which is something that doesn't need any power. I hang it up in my garage, and in the mornings when it's the best time to pick any of your herbs or flowers, I go and grab as many chamomile or calendula flowers that are blooming, clip them off, just put them into the mesh dryer, leave them there and let them dry. Don't have to worry about bringing them into the house and washing them. I don't worry about bugs or anything. They usually scurry off once you've picked the flowers and put them into the dryer. Same with the plantain and the dandelion. Just pick them in the morning. Pretty much done dandelion season now, but the plantain, if you've never grown it, it is great for itchy skin and I make a salve for uh, that works good for burns, itchy skin, mosquito bites, dry nose when you got a cold, cracked heels. So plantain is another great weed that I love to collect and store. And as far as my tea blends, like I said, I just need to keep track of them because once these dry up and shrivel up, you don't really know what you got there. So they're a little harder to identify. So right now, I've got them written out here on these coffee filters, and I'm going to just spread them out onto my trays here, my dehydrating trays. Keep track of them. I run my dehydrator during the day when I'm at home. You can also dehydrate in the oven. That's another method that people use. One of my community members in our community Gardeners Growing Together said that she uses a small room downstairs, like a bathroom or storage room, and runs a dehumidifier. So if you have a dehumidifier, that's something that takes moisture out of the air. I thought that was a great way to do it because you can set up your herbs, if you have lots of them, in a small room, run that dehumidifier, and it absorbs all that moisture. It's something that's, kind of noisy. So if you have it in a room in your basement or somewhere where you don't have to listen to it, that's kind of nice. So thank you to that community member. And if you haven't already joined my community, Gardeners Growing Together, I would love for you to join us. We are a free community, and the link is in the description box below. So if you don't own a dehydrator, this is kind of just another easy method you can do indoors. Like I said, that mesh dryer that I'm using for my outdoor weeds works good. You can purchase one of those from Amazon. I can put the link in the description box below, and bring one into your house, hang it up somewhere, as long as it's getting that good airflow. This is something that I just kind of invented myself. This is one of those covers you can put over food when you're outdoors, at a picnic, to keep the bugs off. And, when I do my daily walk around the garden, sometimes you just grab a handful of something and you bring it in the house. You don't want to have to worry about, doing a big dehydration process. I just throw them onto these coffee filters. As you can see, I did some chamomile the other day. This is some basil, and this was some more lemon balm. And then just to keep bugs and flies off, I would just cover it and I just keep it sitting on my counter. So that's another easy, no power required dehydrating method that I use. So as far as these, this is sage, thyme, oregano. Of course, the sage has big leaves. I will take it apart a little bit and just start spreading it onto my dehydrating tray. It's good because this system here has, I think I have five trays, so I've got lots of trays. You can just set everything out. These have big leaves, so they're going to take a while. And I just spread them out here on the tray. I don't worry about washing. You can wash. My herbs are on the deck. They're very clean. There's not a lot of dirt. I don't worry too much about that, but that is definitely optional. You want to make sure, if you do, that you're using like a salad spinner or some towels to really make sure that you get as much moisture out of them as you can so that they dry faster. And then I just load up my trays here. Then you can just stack them on your dehumidifier or your dehydrator here. So this was some rosemary and oregano basil. The basil takes a little bit longer because it is obviously bigger leaves. The rosemary looks like it's probably ready to jar up. And so I'll just show you how I store these now. So when it comes time to storing these away, there's nothing too technical about it. I just use jars. I got a whole variety of sizes, ones that you can reuse. And I always just keep all my herbs just in, the form that they are dried in. I don't worry about doing any grinding at this point. I just make sure they're good and dry, and then just fill up the jars here. I think the flavor stays in it longer if you don't do anything to it right now. So my basil here, it's not quite dry enough, but when it does get to that dry form, again, I don't worry about grinding it into any powder. When I go to cook with it, I just break it up in my hand. Like I said, I think that just helps keep it fresher if you just leave it in its original form, dried, and then I just crumble it up and put it into my cooking, whatever I'm doing. I even like to make different blends. Again, I don't do any grinding. This is kind of what I would call my Italian blend. So I'll take some of the basil, oregano, thyme, maybe some of the sage, just dump a bunch into a jar, shake it up. And then again, when I go to cook, I just pour a bit into my hand, grind it up into, a finer powder, and just add it in. Stuff like the lemon balm here, I'm just going to spread it out and let it dry, and then I'll worry about breaking the leaves off the stems when it comes time to jar it up. So if you're a person who likes to dehydrate in the oven, let me know how that works for you. I may try that today just because I got quite a bit of stuff here And I'm probably going to fill up all the trays here on my dehydrator, and I want to try it in, get them dehydrated quickly so that you retain all that color and flavor right away. And like I said, I don't want to lose track of what this is because I will probably forget. So I'm just going to set the name here on it, and I'll set that up. So actually, I managed to get everything on here. These dehydrators can fit a lot of stuff. So I've got my herbs here. I've got my lemon balm. And here I did my 2 mints. I got the apple mint and the ginger mint. And I am going to just put this back on here because this basil needs a little more time to dry. And I can just take out trays as they dry, such as my chamomile here, which I think is dry enough now. And I just basically store chamomile or my mints, anything for my teas, the same way. Just dry them and put them in a jar. So this is all I have left from last year. So we're getting very low on my favorite tea blend, and this is chamomile and mint. So this makes a lovely tea. And so now I'm just going to add some more of this dried chamomile to here. Try to put it on something so it kind of gets a little messy. And with chamomile and the calendula, well, pretty much any herb, usually the more you harvest, the more it produces. So you can just do this on a daily basis. Go out and grab a handful and throw it in your dehydrator or into a mesh dryer, however you like to do your dehydrating, and just keep building up that supply over the next month or so while these things are really at their peak. And you should get a nice supply for the winter. So I harvested all this beautiful dill this morning. It is just right at the best time right now because it's not going to seed. So you got all these beautiful dill leaves that I love to try and preserve. So I usually do my dill in a couple different ways just because I like to have it dried as a spice in my cupboard, but also I do a lot of cooking with it. Like if you're adding it into salads like a macaroni salad, or if you're making tuna salad, or throwing it into soups, just freezing your dill is super easy as well. This is, again, a little stash left over. It's very easy to, toss into something. It's got a little bit of moisture in it from being frozen, but you can just chop it up, put it in here and freeze it. But let's try a little bit of this with the dehydrator, and probably using this is a good idea is what I just thought, because these little tiny leaves are probably going to, when they dry up, start falling through the bottom here. And I'll just add my peppermint to it as well. So that's how you can set that up. So like I said, it's got the smaller holes to catch things that are a little more finer. And then what I usually do is put those that are more finer on the bottom of the dehydrator here. So that way anything that falls through gets caught here in the bottom and doesn't end up with other spices. So, and like I said, you can get a lot of things dehydrating in one of these systems, and using this just for daily harvest is also works really well, as well as the mesh dryer that I use for my outdoor stuff. So that's pretty much how I do all of my storing and preserving for my spices, for my teas, for my skincare products, is just do a daily harvest in the mornings, bring it into the house and get it dehydrating so that you can preserve all that color and all that flavor. So I hope you found this helpful and you are doing your harvesting daily of all your wonderful stuff from your garden. And again, please check out my gardening group, Gardeners Growing Together. The link is in the description box below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.